All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a name that, has basically become a synonym for genius in the 21st century, Magnus Carlsen. But this isn't just a story about a chess champion. No, it's way deeper. It's about a mind that completely flipped a thousands of years old game on its head. It all really kicks off with this incredible nickname he got as a teenager from the Washington Post, the Mozart of Chess. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. Mozart, a name that is the benchmark for otherworldly genius. So how on earth does a guy moving wooden pieces on a board earn a comparison like that? Well, that is the big question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. This isn't just some list of his wins. We're going on a journey to see how this kid became a prodigy, how he forged a style nobody had ever seen before, and yeah, how he built himself into a global icon. To really get who the master is, we gotta rewind all the way to the beginning. Because, believe it or not, the signs that his brain was wired differently, they showed up way before he even knew what a chessboard was. Forget about learning to walk and talk like a normal toddler. At just 2 years old, Magnus was already solving 50-piece jigsaw puzzles. The kind of pattern recognition and spatial awareness required for that, it's just mind-boggling for a kid that age. And oh, it didn't stop there. Not even close. By the time he was 5, he had memorized the area, population, flag, and the capital of every single country on Earth. This wasn't just a party trick. It was proof that his mind was like a supercomputer, built to just soak up and process unbelievable amounts of data. So you'd think, with a brain like that, he was born to play chess, right? Well, not exactly. His dad, who loved the game, tried to teach him, but Magnus was kind of meh about it. So what lit the fuse? What was the real driving force? Something beautifully simple and human. He just wanted to beat his older sister. That's it. Sibling rivalry. And once that competitive fire was lit, wow, his rise was just meteoric. Just look at this. At 8, he's in his first tournament. By 9, his rating more than doubles in 1 year. At 12, he's already an international master. And then just 1 year later, at 13, he becomes a grandmaster, the highest title in all of chess. But becoming a grandmaster at 13, that was just the warm-up act. He wasn't just the prodigy anymore. No, he was now on a direct path to break pretty much every record the sport had. Just think about this number, 19. At 19, an age when most of us are still trying to figure out our lives, Magnus Carlsen became the undisputed world number 1. The youngest person ever to do it, leaping over all the legends who came before him. And then there's this number, 2882. For over a decade, Garry Kasparov's rating of 2851 was like the Mount Everest of chess. Everyone thought it was untouchable. Well, Carlsen didn't just climb Everest. He basically found a new, higher mountain nobody even knew existed and planted his flag right on top. The highest rating in history, period. And to put that number 1 achievement into perspective, just look at this. We're talking about giants of the game, right? Garry Kasparov, Vladimir Kramnik, they both hit number 1 when they were 20, which is, absolutely incredible. But Magnus, he beat them both to it, hitting the top spot at just 19 years and 32 days old. It just shows you he was in a class all his own, right from the start. Okay, so we've established he's a record-shattering prodigy. We get it. But the real question is, how? How does he actually win? What is it about his play that makes him so unstoppable? Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Carlsen style. The core of his genius is something called positional play. Think of it like this. While some players are like boxers looking for a flashy one-punch knockout, Carlsen is more like a python. He doesn't go for the quick kill. Instead, he slowly, methodically wraps himself around his opponent, building up these tiny, almost unnoticeable advantages, and just squeezes. He squeezes until they have nowhere left to move, completely suffocated by the pressure. And who better to describe it than his one-time coach, the legend himself, Garry Kasparov. He said Carlsen is a mashup of 2 other giants, Anatoly Karpov and Bobby Fischer.
It's like he took Karpov's suffocating strategy and mixed it with Fischer's absolute iron-willed desire to win. And that bulldog bite Kasparov talks about, that's what his opponents dread. Once he gets even a tiny advantage, he just never lets go.
So what's in his arsenal? Well, first off, he's a universal player. He can play any style, which makes him a nightmare to prepare for. Then there's the psychological warfare. He will play on for hours, taking positions that everyone agrees are a dead draw, and just grinding his opponents down until they make a mistake. And his endgame? It's legendary. Seriously, many experts say he's the greatest endgame player in the history of chess. They call it the Carlsen squeeze for a reason. But here's the thing. Carlsen's story doesn't just end on those 64 squares. Not at all. He's transcended the game itself to become this true global phenomenon. And you can really see this incredible contrast right here. On one side, you've got the pure athlete, a 5-time world champion who's held all the major titles at once. But on the other side, you have the cultural icon, the guy who's modeling for G-Star Raw, getting his own cameo on The Simpsons, and being named one of Time's 100 most influential people. That's a whole different level. And he's not just sitting on that fame, he's leveraging it to build an actual empire. See, he didn't just master the game of chess, he's now actively shaping its future. He co-founds his own company, Play Magnus. He starts buying up popular chess platforms like Chessable and Chess24. He even creates his own massive online tournament. He's making chess bigger than ever. So that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? The guy has won every title there is to win. He's broken every meaningful record. He's built a business empire around the game. He climbed the mountain and then built a skyscraper on top of it. So for the Mozart of chess, for a mind that is always calculating, what's the next move?